video 4 in the poetry series, and I wanted to talk about fluency today. So back in video 1, I talked about rhyme, rhythm, and word study, and then this time I would like to talk about using your poetry unit to teach fluency with your students. So there's a few ways that you can just incorporate this into your daily lessons. And then there's another way I'm going to talk about where you could set aside like a 15-minute time to explicitly teach some fluency. So for those of you who might be parents and aren't familiar with the term reading fluency, it's just your child's ability to read smoothly and accurately, as well as a level of comprehension so that they have the right inflections when they're reading and they're not just like reading monotone like a robot. So I have learned over the years from many different people, but especially a shout out to my teaching partner, Jean, back in Michigan, who I miss dearly. I learned so many things from her, and here are a few ways that she incorporated, and I as well incorporated fluency into our poetry unit. So one really, really fun way, kids love this, was poems for two voices. So I will see if I can find a resource that I can comment in or link in the description box for you guys. And the poems for two voices is essentially that. Two kids will read the same poem. However, there's a column where one student reads and then a column where the other student reads. The text is offset, so they know which lines to read. And there's sometimes when they have to read lines together. And a lot of the ones that we used were based on Aesop's fables. So they needed to actually have some kind of understanding. They had to think about the theme, think about the lesson in order to express their lines the way that they should be delivered. And so what was very interesting about this is that some of our most fluent readers, kids who could read tougher chapter books, they actually struggled with this because it's like they just want to be able to read in their head, but what we found was that they had a hard time comprehending sometimes, and then then it was tough for them to get through to the listener, like, what's the lesson, because they didn't know themselves, and then they couldn't act. They had a hard time acting because they didn't understand. So it was just a really interesting find when we tried this. I suggest that you try it with your students, and it's a fun time for everybody. So poems for two voices, that's the first thing to help practice fluency. The second thing is reader's theater. So back to the poems for two voices, we had such a great time. We're like, we need to do a reader's theater. So we took some of our lowest achieving students that actually really shined when performing, and like strategically picked some reader's theater that they would thrive at, just to kind of give them that boost in confidence and really talk them up, like, wow, you did such a great job with these poems for two voices. I know you're going to be great at this reader's theater. And what this does is it gets them to just take ownership and gets them excited, and then they want to go home and practice, and it just creates more excitement for reading. And then we obviously had the students perform the reader's theater for their parents, and we chose to do this on our portfolio day towards the end of the year, since our poetry unit happens to be at the end of the year. And then the last thing that we used to help our students with fluency in regards to poetry was the mentor poems. So back in video 3, I talked about using mentor poems, and these are poems that we use during our lessons. And so what we could do is think ahead and send home a poem with a student and just say, Look, Johnny, tomorrow I need to use this poem for my lesson, and I was wondering if you could be an honorary teacher and help me teach this lesson by reciting this poem for all of your classmates. Do you think this is something you want to do? If so, you need to take this home and practice reading this poem and, using some inflection, because we really want to get this message across to the class. And so again, that just creates that excitement, that ownership, that wow, my teacher really trusts me to be able to do this. And then they go home and they practice reading with their families, and it's a positive experience reading with their families. So there is, I think that was those three ways that you can help your students with fluency in regards to poetry. So again, if you find something helpful or useful in these videos, please like, please subscribe, please share, and comment if you have any questions. And I will see you next time on Nation of Readers. Have a fabulous day.